obviously she's very attractive, very cute, but her views, her eliteness, her like, I know what's right and you don't, and now you want to apologize, bro. This is how the world works when you get on social.
Broadway actress who issued a post saying, F Biden supporters. May Biden or Kamala never have a moment's peace. That person would be fired so fast it would make your head spin. They wouldn't last one more minute in any Hollywood role. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go. And you're going to put out a Disney film with Snow White, a beloved American character, with a woman who hates more than half the country, the half that just elected Donald Trump. This is an incredible pivot point right now. We'll see which way the woke...
Yesterday, I touched on this a little, but let's get into it. Disney is setting up Rachel Zegler to fail. Instead of fully backing their Snow White star, they're just letting her sink. Yeah, she keeps making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But still, if she's their lead, they should be supporting her 100%. But listen, Rachel, that's Hollywood, baby. They build you up, then they move on the moment you become a liability. And unless Snow White somehow turns into a massive box office hit, which, let's be real, seems unlikely, she's done. You probably won't see her in another Disney film or even another big-budget movie ever again. Now, there's a last-minute push to prop her up, and honestly, I don't get why. Maybe it's coming from outlets that aren't bankrolled by Disney, who knows? But suddenly, they're rallying behind her. Here's where things get interesting. All the industry insiders were right. Rachel Zegler just attended a scaled-down Snow White premiere in Spain. She did Japan first, now Spain. And guess what? Barely. Anyone showed up? Did you even hear about it? No, right? That's because it was practically a non-event. She walked the red carpet, performed a song, and that's it. No buzz, no excitement, nothing. And speaking of the music, let's talk about her new song, Waiting on a Wish, because we sure can't have Snow White dreaming about true love anymore. Right? No prince in sight. Instead, this version of Snow. White doesn't need a man, and the prince is actually some rebellion resistance fighter now. So yeah, Rachel was telling the truth all along. They really did rewrite everything. Now here's the real kicker. David Hand, son of the animator, behind the original Bambi and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, just called out the movie. In an interview with Page 6, Hand, who's 93 by the way, didn't hold back. He said the new film bears zero resemblance to the original and is so off base it's ridiculous. In fact, he believes this remake is enough to make both his father and Walt Disney roll in their graves, and he hasn't even seen it yet. But based on everything we know, the trailers, the interviews, the major plot changes, his conclusion matches ours. This isn't a live-action remake, this is a completely different movie. It's official, Disney just wants this movie to be over. With David Hand, son of the legendary animator behind Snow White and Bambi, is calling out Disney's remake, and he's not holding back. In a recent interview, he said they've taken a beautifully crafted story and destroyed what was Snow White. His wife, Sandra Hand, chimed in too, asking the question we've all been wondering, and you know what? She's absolutely right. But here's the bigger story. Disney is barely marketing this film. According to The Hollywood Reporter, industry insiders are confirming what we've all been suspecting. Disney just wants to get this over with. Unlike their usual massive marketing campaigns, they're keeping Snow White's promotion to a minimum. In Hollywood, big-budget movies typically spend as much on marketing as they do on production. But with this film, not happening. They're just dumping it out there and hoping people forget about it. Even before the LA premiere news, there were signs that Disney was hesitant. One theater owner and a rival studio source pointed out that Disney's marketing machine, which usually goes all out, has been shockingly quiet. Advanced ticket sales didn't even start until 2 weeks before release. For comparison, other Disney live-action movies usually have at least a month of pre-sales. The Little Mermaid, Mufasa, The Lion King, they all had way more buzz. Disney knows they've already alienated their core audience, especially older female fans who grew up loving the original. And let's be real, Rachel Zegler didn't help matters either. She didn't just stir up culture war drama, she went out of her way to anger Disney fans, Snow White fans, political groups, and even inserted herself into the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. For the first time, she's walking back her comments, putting out apologies, and trying to calm down the outrage. But let's be honest, it's too little, too late. Even Disney seems to have given up on trying to salvage this mess. They're quietly sweeping it under the rug and moving on. Rachel Zegler has recently attempted to walk back her controversial remarks about Trump voters, but insiders suggest it may be too little, too late. Rumors are swirling that Disney is quietly distancing itself from the Snow White star following months of controversy. With a $200 million production now mired in negative press, many are wondering, has Ziegler's Hollywood career reached its breaking point, or does she still have a chance to redeem herself?
White actress Rachel Zegler only a few days ago decided to tell every single person that had a different political opinion than her,
May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
Every time we check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, somehow things get even worse than they were before.
This woman thinks that, the half of America, more than half of America, shouldn't live in peace.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig.
There are growing calls tonight for Disney to fire Rachel Zegler, the star of its widely anticipated Snow White remake. It's because of an anti-Donald Trump post she made after the election, writing, quoting here, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Zegler is now apologizing. She writes in a new post, let my emotions get the best of me, and I am sorry, contributed to the negative discourse.
But apparently telling Rachel Zegler to behave normally.
The world's greatest storyteller now finds itself trapped in a narrative it never saw coming. At the heart of the chaos is Rachel Zegler, the once promising star handpicked to bring new life to Disney's live-action Snow White. What was supposed to be a fairy tale success story has turned into a whirlwind of controversy, and today, we're breaking it all down. When Disney announced that Zegler, a Latina actress, would be stepping into the iconic role of Snow White, the reactions were immediate and divided. Some hailed it as a long overdue step toward inclusivity, while others saw it as an unnecessary departure from the classic. But the real storm began when Zegler openly criticized the original animated film, calling it outdated and dismissing Snow White's love story as weird. She assured fans that her version of the character would be more modern and independent, a statement that only fueled the backlash. For many longtime Disney fans, Snow White isn't just a love story. It's a symbol of magic, hope, and the timeless charm that made classic Disney movies so beloved. However, as more details about the remake surfaced, skepticism grew. Changes to the story, including a reimagined Snow White as a resistance fighter and a Prince Charming transformed into a rebellious leader, left many questioning whether this was truly a remake or an entirely new film with a familiar name. Controversy deepened when David Hand, son of the late Disney animator and original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs supervising director, publicly criticized the remake. Speaking to Page 6, he expressed his disappointment, saying the new film bears little resemblance to the classic story his father helped bring to life. In his words, the drastic changes would make both his father and Walt Disney roll in their graves. As if that wasn't enough, Rachel Zegler has found herself embroiled in another scandal, this time off-screen. After months of backlash over her comments criticizing the original Snow White, she has attempted to walk back some of her statements. But according to insiders, it may be too late. Reports suggest that Disney executives are losing confidence in their leading lady, distancing themselves from the actress amid the controversy. Adding fuel to the fire, Ziegler's public remarks haven't exactly helped. She previously referred to the original Snow White as outdated, calling the classic love story weird, and emphasizing that her version of the princess wouldn't be waiting for true love. Then came her involvement in political debates, including a fiery Instagram.
Anyone who voted for him posting on her Instagram that there'll be another 4 years of hatred leaning us towards a world I don't want to live in, claiming that it's leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. And she went even further, warning followers to avoid using Elon Musk's X platform because he supported Donald Trump. Look, she did later apologize for her comments, but it's certainly not the smartest marketing move ahead of this film.
No, I mean, it's a great strategy putting out your leading actress to go ahead and piss off half of the American population and potentially causing a huge backlash from it.
Apparently someone at Disney made a call. Somebody at Disney probably made a call to Rachel Zegler and said, hey, you need to shut your fucking mouth because you are destroying this movie and our reputation when we can't afford this. She tried to make Snow White really woke, and there was a huge backlash from that. Well, unsurprising.
Career off of just criticizing things.
Between her and potential audiences. Despite these efforts to shift the narrative, Snow White has been struggling in pre-release reception. The film's latest trailer has been met with widespread criticism, with Disney even hiding negative comments on social media. Meanwhile, premieres for the film have been significantly scaled back, with recent events, such as one in Spain, taking place with little fanfare and minimal press coverage. With Snow White set to premiere on March 21st, the big question remains: can Rachel Zegler turn things around, or is this the end of her Hollywood fairy tale? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Bled through the project. Look at this.
That is a red flag, just mentally, from a mindset point of view. I would love to live in this world, even if Kamala Harris was.
They will fire Gina Carano just for being conservative and sharing conservative values, but then you have
that anyone actually cares what they have to say about this stuff, because they shouldn't. Like, we don't need to hear from actors and artists about who your political candidate should be. You know, it's you're not qualified to have opinions on this stuff, and you shouldn't be trying to like direct people to vote a certain way. You know, for these people, they're there to entertain us. They're not there to lead us.
The controversy escalated quickly, and before long, Rachel Zegler found herself at the center of a political firestorm. Many Republicans viewed her remarks as an attack on millions of Americans, contributing to a wave of backlash that included trending hashtags like Boycott Snow White. For Disney, this posed a significant problem. Many of those upset by Zegler's words were part of the studio's core audience. But the outrage wasn't just from conservatives. While some progressives praised Zegler for speaking her mind, others questioned whether her divisive comments were doing more harm than good. Instead of stepping back from the controversy,